Hi, this is Terry Witherspoon with Lasting Liberty Ministries. Today, I want to talk to you about artificial intelligence, what the Lord told me about artificial intelligence, and one of the leaders in that industry, and how what he said is connected to what God told me. Last year, we wrote a book. The book was called The Emerging Glory Temple. It's the Shepherd's Rod for 2025. And in that book, we wrote some things in chapter 8. The title of that chapter is Things to Come. And the section is called Seeking Wisdom. And in that chapter, here's what we wrote. Artificial intelligence, or AI, will increasingly appear intelligent in the eyes of the world. However, people will increasingly seek out God's people for wisdom. Intelligence without wisdom will bring chaos and fear to many. However, God will break through the darkness with light, bringing wisdom for ruling over artificial intelligence. The world will seek wisdom from God's people. Okay, there is a leader in the industry of artificial intelligence. His name is Jensen Huang. He's the CEO of NVIDIA Corporation. And he recently was interviewed. And in that interview, the lady asked him who he thought the smartest person in the world was. His answer is very insightful and connected to what God told me about artificial intelligence a year ago. Let me show that video to you.
Who's the smartest person you've ever met?
Who's the smartest person I've ever met? I can't answer that question. And I know what people are thinking. The definition of smart is somebody who's intelligent, solve problems, technical. But I find that that's a commodity. And we're about to prove that artificial intelligence is able to handle that part easiest. And so it turns out that the definition of smart is very different than most people think. I think long-term, the definition of smart and my personal definition of smart, someone who sits at that intersection of being technically astute, but human.
You can see Jensen in this video struggling to verbalize what he intuitively sees coming and what the real need is, but he's struggling to put words to it.
Empathy and having the ability to infer the unspoken, around the corners, the unknowables. You know, people who are able to see around corners are truly, truly smart.
Now, that's very interesting. To be able to see around corners basically means to be able to see what's in the future before it gets here. That's the prophetic. That's what God does through his people. He tells us of things to come before they get here. Now, this man is indicating someone who has that ability will be considered very smart in the future.
And their value is incredible. To be able to preempt problems before they show up, just because you feel the vibe.
To be able to see the problems before they arrive. Now, that's going to be considered intelligent in the future, and God's people have that ability.
And the vibe came from a combination of data analysis, first principle, life experience, wisdom.
So here's one of the richest men in the world. He runs one of the largest corporations in the world. And he is indicating that someone who has wisdom will be considered very, very valuable. And we know that wisdom does not come from AI, doesn't come from an education system. Wisdom comes from God, from above.
Sensing other people. Mm-hmm. That vibe, that I think, that's smart. That I think is going to be the future definition of smart. And that person might actually score horribly on the SAT.
So there you have it. The leader, one of the leaders in the AI industry, is indicating that there are intangible qualities that will become very needed in the future and sought out. And those qualities that he indicated come from someone who has a connection to God, who God speaks to. Listen, there's a verse in the Bible. Let me show it to you. In John chapter 16, verse 13, here's what Jesus said. However, when he, the Spirit of truth, has come, he will guide you into all truth, for he will not speak on his own authority, but whatever he hears, he will speak, and he will tell you of things to come. That's God's people. We're in days right now where God's people are going to become more and more important. It's critical right now to draw near to God. This is not a time to shrink back or to be afraid about artificial intelligence or how that could change our society. God knew this was coming. He's not surprised, and he's talking to his people. And not only that, he's positioned us, his people, to be considered very important in the days ahead. This is a time to draw near. Jesus in John 10:27 said, "My sheep hear my voice. I know them and they follow me." We're here to win. We're not here to lose. This is the greatest time for the church. I want you to know he has good plans for us, and he loves us with an everlasting love. And we love you too. God bless you.